so I'm not sure whether that references to the GM or any of you. You can figure that out as we go along.
Oh boy.
Let's. Okay. Well, we had a great session last time, and let's get starting on reminding ourselves of what's gone on so far now that we're back from the break. And we'll start over there with Valdis. Valdis, what's happened to your character so far?
Well, a lot's happened with my character. As you know, I am Valdis Trayer. I'm from the Starmation Realm and Wealth, and I am a Loseas, which is to say that I'm someone who made a deal with an entity known as a Deva. I've been on a little adventure with all these people, trying to find a way to purify my Deva, because I believe it's possible. Although some of my colleagues would disagree. I joined the crew of the ship, where I met all the other characters. We ran into a monster at a house party, which on a scale of house parties was like, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10.
That's accurate.
But on the plus side, I did get to see Ursula throw a sword like a fucking javelin, which was pretty dope.
Now it's a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, 4 out of 10 now. I mean, that was definitely a highlight. So, after that, we traveled back to the ship where we ran into a guy who's, oh god, what is his name?
Carlo or something like that?
Carlo.
Yeah, who's totally on the up and up and is totally fine.
Hey, it's
Because
been
you
like
know him
4
so
sessions.
well.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a good judge of character. Ursula's also a good judge of character, so... And we both thought it was fine, so it's fine.
I'm sure it'll be okay.
Let's see, I froze a dude, which is a common theme. Got back to the ship, wandered around, fought a ship-to-ship battle, which was cool. Met Big T. He was awesome. Went into a portal to a hell dimension, which was less awesome. Met another Loseas who had a fire diva, and I wanted to ask him more questions, but we had more pressing matters like bearded tentacle monsters.
As you do.
So I had to put my questions on hold, and I don't know if I'm ever going to get those answered, so that sucks for me.
There you are,
Suck.
searching for answers to questions, huh?
Yeah,
Questions.
but I just, for some reason, fights break out before I can ask questions. So.
Have you checked to see if you're in a role-playing campaign?
I haven't.
That's a common cause of fights breaking out.
Have you checked your fellow characters' flaws?
I just checked my own flaws, and I'm starting to see it now.
Ah. Mm-hmm.
Anyways, we're on a boat now, doing the best that we can to raise a grasshopper baby. Talking to Queen Mab, who is like, that was fine. I don't know why you guys are so worried about.
It went fine.
She almost touched my ship.
She almost touched my shit. Where on the boat did Queen Mab touch you?
Okay.
Masts.
Speaking
Anyway.
of boats and grasshopper babies and the like, Esteban, what's been exciting for your character through so far?
Well, I am Esteban Gutierrez de Rioja El Rojo. Castilian. And I joined this ship ostensibly as the doctor and a little bit of
Hey,
a...
what do you mean ostensibly?
I joined the crew as a doctor, definitely a doctor, and nothing else. My exploits include healing the rest of these guys when they get hurt, freezing the front of a ship in a big old block of ice, and giving, I should say, hatching a Sign Earth baby. That Mab was kind enough to let me keep and raise as something. I'm gonna raise it as something, whatever.
We're going to raise
ends
it.
up being. Yeah, we.
Little bean?
We. I kind of hope to learn more about the Sign Earth via this little baby. Maybe unlock some secrets of these artifacts that we have. And hopefully stay away from the violence that continues to happen around this crew. Because it's not my style.
Good luck with that.
We have a request for 0 violence in today's session, so everyone remember that.
No. You can be violent, just not around me.
Be violent towards Esteban. Got it.
Wait. Wait.
He takes it. He just takes it fine. He's a champ. He gets back up.
He gets knocked down, but he gets
Yeah.
up again.
Back up
This is
again.
the night away.
Nope. Mm-mm.
All that good stuff.
Does he drink a whiskey drink and then a vodka drink?
Why?
Sing songs about the bad times.
Vodka.
Poor Johnny boy.
Well, there we
Esteban?
go.
Greg, get a handle on this again. Hurry.
Wait, am I supposed to GM? I was just getting my soundtrack ready for the clear beat we were about to do.
Oh boy.
Okay, Ashlyn, since we're closely related to a bunch of those events, why don't you tell us how your character has been doing?
All right, I am Ashlyn. I'm from the Glamour Isles. I grew up in a very privileged life in the noble class, but I decided to go and become an archaeologist. And Ashlyn has been used to like small interactions with people, helping them out, then leaving. Nothing too long until now. So she joined the ship because she was asked to by the captain to help out with some Sign Earth artifacts, and so she couldn't pass that up. So she met them over in Vadachi after she took a little side quest. And much to her chagrin, they had to go to a party. And of course, she was too curious not to get involved in the artifact that Giuseppe, who she saw as an asshole, tried to get for himself. And with the help of Dr. Rojas, it was able to convince him that he didn't need the artifact. In fact, he bought this crappy painting instead. So she... through events, she's learned to appreciate the friendships that she's starting to get, especially with everybody else on the ship. She grew closer with them as everybody came together after they came back from the portal hell thing. They sat and drank, and everybody confessed a lot of their mistakes in the past. So she felt a lot closer, and then she started questioning where her life was going in this point, because she's so used to like moving on from one thing to the next, and guilt started to set in with her, and how Giuseppe ended up taking the powers from this broken artifact that were meant for her. So she started feeling guilty amongst like other mixed emotions that she feels are akin to what she was brought up in Glamour Isles, where you have to do good and be good and take responsibility for actions, which is why she's been keeping an eye on Giuseppe and interacting with him a lot more, and everybody else for that matter. well, I guess she started slowly, like every day she interacted with Giuseppe, keeping an eye on his magic and stuff. And she started to gain an interest with him. And she started like seeing him in a more positive light. And ever since then, she doesn't know how to interact with him. But then Mab came and called her the Morgan for some reason. And she's absolutely confused over that. And she has a lot of questions that she knows the only person that can answer it is her adopted father. So that's where she's at.
And we're going to be clear to not mention the adopted father for a while. So
No,
no,
we're not.
we're going to jump right over to Ursula as we work our way up the pyramid.
All right, as we carefully skirt around the adopted father thing.
What?
What?
Ursula Kunigund, one of the 3 she-bears of Grafenbar and Isen, has left her homeland to search for the monster that killed her mother, severely injured her and her sister, and vengeance something dark-hearted nonsense. I'm sure it's fine. From the beginning, I have thrown a great sword like a claymore, or a claymore like a javelin successfully. I'm in a good place, which was really fun for me, so I give that party probably a 5 out of 5, because I got to kill something, people saw me kill something, I was very impressive. It was a good time for me. My son, Valdis, and I stumbled across some poor sod was about to get his butt handed to him, so we adopted him as well, because we're nice people, and what could possibly go bad out of the generosity of our hearts? I'm sure it's fine. Then we were on a ship for a little bit. We went back to the island where I got ambushed and tortured for a while, which was a super fun memory to go through again. Then we found a creepy cave with some stuff in it, and then I told a guy I wanted to see a portal, and he showed me a portal. And then the portal kind of sucked me and my friends through. We had a very odd conversation with somebody that may or may not have a deva. They have a deva, like Valdis does. And then he told us some stuff about somebody's mom. It was totally a thing that he needed to know at that exact moment. And then we almost died. Well, I almost died, but I'm very hard to kill, as is my nature. And then we got back on the ship after everybody almost died, and I had dice stolen from me by healing. That ultimately saved my life.
You're welcome.
It was ultimately a good thing, but I may or may not still be salty about it.
May or may not.
Definitely may or may not. And then we made it back to the ship, where I bled over most of the available ship wood, I think, as we had a discussion instead of letting me sleep, where I told the captain that I'd fought his mom when she was a horror, and she killed my mom and injured me and my sister. What? And it was fine. Horror. There's hard R's in there, in the middle and the end.
When she was a whore.
She was a very scary whore, if that makes you feel any better. And then I went and slept for a while.
Doesn't.
I tried to have a heart-to-heart with the captain about stuff, and I apologized for trying to kill his mom, and he told me it was fine, so...
It was fine.
I'm sure that will resolve itself amicably, at least. And then while I was trying to sleep off my grievous wounds from a giant axe almost cutting me in half, I was woken up to go talk to some people about an insect baby that was determined to not be inherently evil, and then something about potential love interests. So I had a talk with two of our shipmates about how to properly pursue romantic interests in a warlike setting, and I think I got through to him. I really think I helped in that. Definitely had some good advice to give.
Very good advice.
Very good advice.
10 plus.
Make sure you speak to her in German, the language of love.
Of course. Nothing says I love you like shouting angrily, I love you.
Ich liebe dich.
It's me, my dick.
See, I feel loved already. And then I went back to sleep so that I could not be half dead anymore, and so that my side would hurt less. And then there was something about some Fey lady. I'm not exactly sure what happened. I'm not caught up on anything not related to killing horrors.
Well,
Killing horse.
But she as a character is for sure feeling her age right now. 55 is not a particularly a good place to be when fighting things that almost kill you.
55 is a new 30.
Sure, yep. I mean, I'm very fit, so it's probably better than it could be.
Yeah.
Because when you're 30 and you're stabbed in the side, you're fine.
You recover in 2 days
faster.
instead of in 4.
okay. Well,
That's what I got.
Ricardo, Captain, why don't you give yours summary, and then we'll get to the boat.
Well, I figure maybe we'll go into, since we're headed to the Vaticine, might as well delve a little bit into the background for those who aren't in the know. So Ricardo was a bastard, if we don't remember. He's never met his father. He grew up in the church, at the actual, in the Vaticine church. His mother was training to be a priest, and he was an acolyte, learning the ways of the church. And then, when he was 10 years old, his mom came to him and was like, "Yo, you gotta get out of here. Go with this old, sickly bishop guy and meet me in this far-flung city in 2 months. I'll be there. I'll come get you." And so jumped on the ship. The old bishop died on the way there, hung out for 2 months, and she never showed. The only thing that I have from her is this necklace that I don't really know what it means, but apparently it's probably important in some way. What else? Oh, he joined a pirate hunting ship. Luckily, after he ran away from his adoptive home and grew up on the seas, there was a fate witch, the wife of the captain, who convinced the captain to let Ricardo join the ship. She saw some fateful portent somehow down the line. And the captain had been searching for artifacts, ancient artifacts, and she had told him that he would come into possession, his wife told him that he would come into possession of some artifact that would change the fates of nations. Eventually became captain himself, got his own ship, got ambushed by pirates ways down the line, and captured, where he met Ursula in pirate prison, and they planned and plotted to escape. Then he worked for a while to rebuild his crew and go get his revenge, and that's where the story started. Challenged the equivalent of Donald Trump Jr. to a sword fight, stabbed him in his face, and then in their intimatism, my compatriots let Donald Trump Jr. onto my freaking boat after I stabbed him in the face.
You're welcome.
Not only that, they picked up some kid off the street.
What?
Well, that one was a little weird.
Yeah.
If you had known him, you knew him his whole life, and you knew he was a good kid.
Wait, let's circle this back, though. You're the one who said yes for both.
That's true.
I said no at first, and then y'all cajoled me into doing it.
Well, that's your fault for being too easily cajoled.
Cajolability is
I think the lesson here is that we can control the captain.
Actually, I think Giuseppe cajoled his own way on. I can't remember what he said exactly off the top of my head. But
Probably something along the lines of, "Man, please take me with you. I'm so pathetic."
Yeah.
He's not that pathetic anymore, guys. He's getting better.
He's not that pathetic.
I remember something about searching for meaning in his life because he'd never done anything, and then we were all like, "Oh shit, he used honesty." It was super
It's
effective.
super effective.
It was
I mean, we ran a background check on him, and it came up clean, I suppose. And then we went and fought a pirate. We attacked the pirate island, and all the craziness that everybody else has mentioned already. Especially learning about his mom still being alive and like at the heart of this evil conspiracy to destroy the world or whatever, you know. So he's grasping with that a little bit. I think if you were able to kind of read his mind, like, you know, you had a book and it was his point of view, he's kind of very confused. Like he's gotten over the fact that he's never going to see his mother again. Like, she died in his mind a long time ago. So learning this makes him, he doesn't know how to deal with whether or not his mom is actually alive or if she died. And so he's, I think, leaning towards, she died a long time ago. This monster that has taken her place is not actually his mom. That's what he's hoping. He shows that when they meet, she's not going to be like, I was a monster the whole time. That'd be rough. So he's okay. He's sad. He is a little bit angry that Ursula tried to kill his mom, but that is far outweighed by the fact that, you know, he now knows that his mom killed Ursula's mom, which there is mutual, I think, apologies going on there. And that's why he's kind of like, yeah, okay, I'm okay with this. We're on the same side. We can do this. You know, screw the monsters. They're ruining my day, and I got to get that revenge on those people who tortured me. So he's still driven, kind of by a little bit by vengeance, and he wants to trust these people, but there's still lingering doubts in the back of his mind, which isn't normal for him and people who are on his boat. So he doesn't know how to deal with that. Anyway, time to go home, and apparently, oh, look at the background. All the people are having such a great time. Vampire lady, yeah, I don't know whose background she's coming from, but that seems great.
Vampires are fine.
Everything's gonna be great. What are you titling this adventure, Greg?
You folks want some pancakes?
I'm still taking a bunch of notes here. Give me a sec.
I mean, maybe she's just offering, like, hey, you guys look thirsty. Do you want some drinks?
Yeah, they do kind of look thirsty.
She's being a good hostess.
Rubbing his belly there. He's
Yeah.
I'm thirsty.
Oh,
He's
boy.
looking at her.
He's like, yeah, I got some tea and some biscuits. And everyone's like, oh yeah, biscuits. Let me just.
I really want to see this dude right behind Ashlyn. Like, what's that guy up to?
Well, I think it's time we got started with my personal inquisition, or Ricardo's personal inquisition, or
Great.
maybe someone else's personal inquisition. But Ricardo tends to think everything is about him.
always.
So it's probably Ricardo.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the last thing that happened, as noted, is that you had an encounter with Mab. She left, and you started sailing across the ocean towards the Vaticine city, which is where you plan on investigating Ricardo's background further. It is not that far of a journey. The Vaticine Island is pretty close to where you guys have been, and it won't take very long to get there from where you are, about maybe a day. Is there, as the events around Mab have settled around the crew, there has been some tension as people are getting a little nervous, as sailors do when the Queen of the Sea shows up and threatens to destroy their ship. No one actually mentioned the Kraken from last time, but it was there too.
Yeah, that's right.
And Krakens are scary for sailors, primarily because sailors can't swim, but also because it eats things.
It didn't this time. It's good.
I mean, nothing they saw.
It's all fine.
So we're going to fast forward to docking in the Vatican port. You're going to have a little bit of a ride up to the actual city itself. It's not right on the shoreline. But that after a day of introspection, you have now gathered pretty much the group of you together to take the journey into the city. So I have two questions to start with. For Esteban, what are you doing with Grasshopper Baby?
How big is Grasshopper Baby?
It's about 1.5 feet long.
Can I fit him in a backpack?
Yes. Do
As
you want
long
it
as
to
it's
have air?
comfortable.
Is it like
Yes,
a
of
baby
course.
carrier? We should make it like that.
Yeah, no, I can have my men get a custom backpack made up for you. As long as it gets off my ship, I don't care what you put it in.
Well, I mean, it's gonna come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take it being off my ship for a little while, then just
Okay,
always
yeah.
on my ship.
Great.
Apparently, the captain helps me jury rig a little backpack I can carry the little fella in.
I assume that you're going to want to make it so it's not obvious what's inside the backpack.
Yeah. That's why I want something concealed. I guess I can get a baby stroller that like the front drops down on.
Oh god, this is gonna be.
And then some random passerby is going to be like, "Oh, can I see your cute little baby?" And you're going to be like, "No, no way."
Oh, he's sleeping. He's sleeping.
Well, they're always cuter when they're sleeping. Just a peek.
I guess we'll cross that bridge if we come to it. But
Oh boy.
So are you seriously doing the stroller thing, or are you sticking with the backpack?
I think the backpack's a good start, and then maybe we'll explore other options.
Okay.
So, Captain, are you? Are who all is disembarking on the ship? Because I have one set of armor, and it is very objectionist, and I don't think they would appreciate me going in there with that on.
So don't wear your armor.
And a cloak over it.
I don't know if
I
you met
know.
me.
Supposedly, if I bump into somebody who recognizes me, it could be bad juju. So if I come along, I will need a disguise.
I pull out like one of my cloaks. I have a lot of traveling cloaks. I hand it over to Ursula. It might not be long enough, but might cover what you need.
Yeah, we could probably cover up your armor.
More what I was going for is you pay me a little bit extra, and I will not wear this in there. I'm a mercenary after all.
But it'd be better if you wore it. Do you think? Or we expect? You know what? We should probably expect a fight, just given the way that things are going.
All right, but I'm still going for more pay to get in that city full of backstabbers and liars. No offense.
To me? No offense taken. Yeah, we can probably arrange. So the way I have like 3 wealth tokens, according to the way the shipping works, or something like that. So I don't know what that converts into wages somehow. So yeah, you'll be paid, of course. Everybody gets their wages.
So in 7th C, your wealth stat is basically a thing you can spend each session for wealth things. And it's really ambiguous. I just decide how much wealth is. But if you want to say that you gave Ursula one of your wealth tokens for this session, that's good.
I'm a mercenary, and I feel like I haven't used that at all. So
I think I would like you to wear the armor if you can. We can cover it
all
up.
right.
That'd be good.
I will take one of the cloaks and make sure to tie it directly over the section of my breastplate that identifies me as an objectionist.
Get a hero point for that or something?
It is standard. On every ship, there's at least one Holocaust cloak, right?
Oh no.
Yes.
Oh dear.
Just don't set it on fire.
I'm also going to have my greatsword underneath it so that it can't really be seen. Like, you can see the top of it. But I feel like a Draconison greatsword would be a dead giveaway that I am probably not supposed to be where I am.
But also, it says, don't fuck with me.
I mean, if we need to do that, I can do that without my sword. And then
Oh.
if that is not enough, I will just cut off their arm, as is tradition.
I mean, to be fair, you have 2 people with the large advantage
Yes.
in your group. You're not unintimidating.
We're really good bodyguards.
Mm-hmm.
They do the job. Captain, my second question was, is there anyone else on the crew you're planning on bringing along?
In the standard crew? Why do we want to bring along Giuseppe?
What?
No, we're not bringing Giuseppe.
Yeah, no.
I just like the guy.
We know.
Actually, I think I want most of the crew to be hanging on the ship. So I don't think we're going to take anybody along. I think we got this as the heroes. I want them limited shore leave and they keep the ship ready to go at a moment's notice.
Okay, you guys get off the ship and basically grab a carriage to take you up to the city. It's the most inconspicuous way to do it. And travel along there. It's a bumpy ride, but not particularly exciting. The weather has gotten dark and kind of overcast, as you can see by the background. And you approach
Green.
the city itself. The Vatican City has a great big wall around it. It's well known for its excessive architecture. And there's a lot of color and people wearing official Vatican stuff all over the place as you approach it. It does not look like they're checking any like carriages or anything at the gates, but there are some people there watching.
It is probably, it's probably worth noting that I'm just, as we pass more and more Vatican officials and I see the just grandeur and wealth, I'm just slowly getting angrier and angrier.
We're in the heart of enemy
I
territory.
grab Ursula's hand and like squeeze it reassuringly and give her a small smile.
I'm just gonna turn
Got it.
a very angry look on you, but allow you to continue to hold my hand. Like, breathe out deeply. It's not like these people are the cause for 30 years of war in my country that destroyed my life in my homeland, but that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
On that corner over there, my friend Juliana kicked the guard in the nuts. We ran away. They did not catch us.
I just don't understand how somebody believes that there's only just one god out there. Crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts.
How many gods do you think there are?
It's not more like gods, more like the innate magic that the earth holds.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll put my faith in the thing that's, that's actually physically behind me. That I know is
The
real.
Deva?
We all might want to speak slightly more quiet. The Inquisition has people listening on the streets, so just be careful.
He's right,
Hey guys, we're talking about heresy. See, nobody cares.
No,
And
nope,
that's
they
when
do.
the carriage explodes.
They do. They care.
Can I have like a ridiculous fake beard?
Chin? Oh.
Yes, you
Like
can
with
have a
girls?
ridiculous fake beard.
I feel like we probably gave you excessive amounts of makeup as well. Like, you have really thick kohl.
Yeah,
Eyeliner.
eyeliner. Yeah, a unibrow.
Well, maybe not a unibrow. We don't want to be
Almost
that
unibrow,
aggressive.
small cap.
We'll give him a mole, a big mole.
Oh,
Okay,
My God,
so
it
whoever
looks
did your
perfect.
disguise there, Ricardo, is going to have to roll a sneak.
Oh, not me. I
It's
just
going to be a
commented.
wit sneak or
Wit
or
sneak.
panache.
I can do
Probably.
panache.
Wait, what is... Oh, hide.
Panache
What is
hide?
sneak?
Yeah, panache hide.
Okay.
I mean,
So many
I got a lot of
systems,
wits,
so little
but
time.
no hide.
All right, I'll do
2 wits and 2 hide.
2 wits and 2 hide. I have 3 wits and 1 hide or 2 hide.
I got 6
scare about
wits.
whoever did this to him. And it sounds like it was some combination of Ursula and Ashlyn.
Can I
That
help
sounds
her?
about right.
Yes.
I want to help her do that.
Okay,
Do
since you
it.
have the hide skill, you can assist her with an extra die.
Yes,
Yay.
you're welcome.
Should I spend a hero point here?
No.
We'll
Ask
save.
yourself
We'll save.
how important your disguise is to this session. And is
I
being
think it's
discovered
more
more
honestly-
or less fun?
Well, being discovered would definitely be more fun. But so we'll hold on to it. But I'm gonna put on. I'm not gonna get caught. We're not gonna get caught. We got this.
2 raises.
You got 2 raises? Is that what I heard?
2 raises.
Oh god,
Yep.
Looking good. Looking good.
I'm so excited.
Okay. Well, 2
It's been
raises
years since I've
isn't
been back here. Nobody's gonna recognize me.
enough to keep the guards from recognizing you, if they
Right.
would.
If they
And
would.
you roll
That's
on
a good
into the city.
implication.
You are looking for your your former master, excuse me, Monsignor Benevente. You know the place,
Yep.
so you probably park the carriage somewhere near there, and you all get out. There is a small, buzzing noise coming from Esteban's backpack.
Oh, fuck.
Hey there, little guy. Quiet down.
It actually sounds a lot like a phone vibrating, but
Hmm.
Is that
I mean,
thing
I'm gonna
like doing a cricket thing or?
I'm gonna look in the bag.
it looks like it has some gland or something on its thorax that's vibrating, and it kind of glows a dull, sickly green when it does it too. That's relevant.
Huh.
Now is not the
That's a
time
good
to
one.
investigate.
I mean,
Well, do you know how to get it to stop?
do you think it's because we're getting closer to a church that's reacting like this?
Good. Yeah.
As you guys are distracted by the humming, everyone should make a perception check. Wits. Notice, right? Notice is our skill. It's been a month, so I have to remember all the skills again.
Don't forget your flair.
Oh yeah, flare. With 3 dice, we get a re-roll one, right?
Yes.
That is correct. With 3 in your skill.
Ooh,
Oh.
dang.
I need to.
I get 3 raises.
I got 4.
I got
Re-roll.
5.
Oh dang.
Okay.
2.
So for 2 raises, you notice that someone is definitely watching you as you go into the Benevente's place. For 2 more raises, so 4 and 5, because 2 of you were there, you feel pretty comfortable that they were actually specifically staking out Benevente's place, not like necessarily for you, but they do. As soon as you guys head that direction, they run off.
Shit.
What's going on?
That's good news.
My guess
You
is
saw that too, Captain?
yeah, my guess is the Inquisition is watching him for some reason. That's the
Then
most
we
likely
need to
explanation.
So we're gonna have to keep this a brief visit.
Let's move
think
quick.
that-
Do you want one of us to stand outside and keep watch, or
I can stand outside if you need to. I can bullshit like anybody else if I need to.
Yes, give us a warning cry of some sorts.
Yeah, I think maybe getting the baby off the streets is a good idea.
maybe a bird call? I hear those are very useful for these situations.
Oh, caw. That's awesome. We can do that, right?
Look at me!
Over here! Over here! Bad guys! Bad guys! Okay.
Crows
I
do
guess
lots of great bird calls. It's great.
it's Madison, city full of crazy birds.
I've come across many birds which have different meaning calls. I can regale them with it.
I've
Well,
said with confidence.
We're all
Yeah,
looking forward to that.
Regale.
regale.
So, Ashlyn, you're going to stay out here at the door, and the rest of you are going in, correct?
Yep.
Okay, you step
Apparently.
inside. There is a
Don't want to leave a
servant,
fighter out there.
servant there to greet you right away. She comes up and, may I inquire your business with the Monsignor?
We are seeking his counsel on a matter of great import. Could you tell him that an old friend has come to seek his aid?
Does this old friend have a name?
No.
That is quite mysterious. She looks at your extravagantly ridiculous beard, and you are unsure whether it clicks anything inside her as she walks off to deliver your message, probably to the Monsignor.
Clicky bits inside of her, apparently.
Her brain, something.
I mean, we could try following her. I don't know how confident you are that she'll do.
Yeah, the aggressive stance. That's what we should lead with.
That's all I have right now.
I don't know. I feel like if she notices us just following her. Now let's do it. I follow her.
I assume you let her get like a couple of steps, and then you see where she's going, and then kind of then Ricardo starts heading that direction with everyone else following.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'll try to follow very far behind.
I mean, it's not like we came here to give him a choice on whether or not he wanted to talk to us.
And the doors are not locked or anything. She doesn't lock them behind her or anything like that. So you're able to go through the door and just give me a wits. I guess I'm trying to think if there's a maybe survival for tracking. I don't know.
Wits.
Well, or you can try finesse to just do it really fast.
Finesse notice?
Yeah, that sounds like a great opportunity for this. Let's do that. You don't get to use finesse notice too often.
Why is my dice thing not rolling? What? 1 second. Technical difficulties.
Do you actually have a survivalist skill, Rob?
I do.
Wow. Or, sorry, advantage. Wrong game system.
Yeah. You know, just in case we ever get stuck in the woods.
Yeah, this is sort of the opposite of the woods right now. There might be some wood, but mostly it's stone and metal and gold and opulence and things that you don't find in Eisen.
Yeah, but you could get lost in here, and then what are you gonna do? I mean, you're gonna have to break some chairs and start a fire, camp out in the foyer.
That is 4 races.
I've discovered
Hey,
87 more rooms, but not an exit.
I think that gets you the result you're after with 4 raises, which is that you come across a door that just recently closed where you heard the servant talking with a voice that you recognize, the Monsignor, and I assume you probably burst in, right?
Yeah.
Burst in, followed by 2 really large people and a guy trying to be inconspicuous with a backpack. So no one notices you, by the way, Esteban. Standing behind Ursula and Valdis is very effective in these circumstances. Small and close quarters.
Perfect.
The they are both very startled. The servant lets out a little bit of a screech thing, and steps back as the Monsignor looks up from what looks to be tea and a book that has one of those like fancy bookmarks in it and written in like some gold scroll, probably one of their holy book things. Sitting there in a chamber, it's obviously a sitting room. There's a bunch more books around, a few other chairs, and one wine bottle on a rack, which makes it just a little bit ambiguous as whether it's used for religious purposes or just for sitting around. But you burst in, and he does not say anything right away as he looks at you.
Ah, Monsignor. And I look at Ursula and Valdis, and then I gesture with my head towards the Monsignor.
Are there any other doors in this room?
Yes, there's one not across the way, but to your right on that wall.
I move to block it.
I'll stand.
Okay, one large person in each door, and there you are.
And I will stare down our good buddy, Monsignor. From a distance.
So he puts his tea down. His hand is shaking a little bit when he does that. You kind of hear that little rattle as he puts it down. But his voice sounds more calm, or he's good at keeping it calm, as he looks up and says, "You are Ricardo, are you not?"
I look at him, kind of smile, and go, "Damn it!" I take off my beard, wipe my eyes, smear the makeup around. Yes, it is good to see you again, Monsignor Benavente. Our last meeting was a little unfortunate, but I've come seeking answers, and I hope that you can answer them without me having to have a trip to the gallows.
I will also crack my knuckles very loudly as he says the "hope you can answer them" part.
It does a lot to calm the guy's nerves. He does glance your direction as you crack the knuckles. And just for dramatic purposes, when you're doing that, it kind of opens up your Holocaust cloak a little, so the objectionist symbol is in display right by your hands.
Catch a glimpse of the edge of my Draconison broadsword behind my back.
Yeah.
Just letting them know who's here.
So, I see that you are more determined for answers this time around.
Yes, last time I didn't know what I was asking about. But now that I know my mother is alive, in a way, and that you clearly knew more about it than I did, I'd like to ask you how you knew such things, and if you know where she is now.
I do not know where your mother is. When you returned last, I feared that you were caught up in the same darkness that she brought. Are you?
What? I don't think so. I hope not. But what darkness do you mean?
It does not seem that you have allied yourself, young Ricardo, with those who are truly pure and honorable with the church. And he looks at both Valdis and Ursula when he says that. Esteban, as far as you can tell, he hasn't noticed your existence yet.
Excellent. That's as it should be.
As he says good and pure with the church, he's just going to get a very loud and dismissive snort from me, who's, just remembering all of the terrible things they've done to my country. I'm very, very tense.
Oh, well, when you're abandoned as a child and the only people you trust within the church threaten to kill you, it's hard to find such purity.
It is true that cast to the winds, one's soul finds whatever port it can. And I still have hope that you are not beyond redemption.
So no idea where my mother could be or where any of these dark conspirators might be.
I know more that you might not want to hear, but I do not know where she is. Speaking of that, Ashlyn, while you're outside, can you give me a wits notice, please?
Oh,
Yeah. Go into them. Let's see.
Captain, should we tell him about the guard?
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, 4.
Okay. Not seeing anything yet over there.
All right. I'm also taking a couple of crumbs out of my rations, and I'm starting to feed some birds.
Okay.
How to keep
Monsignor, I think we should make this pretty quick, or perhaps we could return to my ship. We noticed that you were being watched.
Ever since the events that led to your mother's expulsion from the church, there's been some concern that dark forces are at work. I would not surprise me if they would watch.
It is not the Inquisition?
The Inquisition watches everyone. Do you know what happened to your mother? Do you know what darkness she brought upon herself? Do you know the evil that she let into her soul?
Cue the increasing hostility in my body language.
It's okay. He's getting a little riled up now. You get that deal with panic by anger kind of thing. So he starts in on talking about she found the dark forces and she did not repel them as good pure person should do, but she invited them into her, and she became something of darkness and evil that we only dream of, a demon or a devil, the darkness that is the church. And it was even worse that it was within the church itself, for she not only found this darkness, but she brought the good
I walk up and
priests along
slap
with her.
him across the face. Give him a nice backhand.
Okay.
Oh shit.
The servant in the back kind of like whimpers a little bit. Your backhand is successful. He has that like little small trickle of blood on the corner of the mouth as he stops talking and sits back down and looks up at you and says, "Do what you will with me." Ashlyn, you've never actually seen Inquisition troops, but you're pretty sure that's Inquisition troops coming down the street. They have that that we're holy, but we're gonna rip your arms off kind of look to them, and
so
they've got like some guy leading them who has like lots of that like important regalia stuff.
I pull
and
out a one of my family emblem, and I'm just fingering it for a second. I'm just watching them approach. Kaka!
Well, they're headed straight for the front door, and
I'm standing in the front door, feeding the pigeons.
You said you could bullshit.
Hello. And who are you?
You did have a chance if you wanted to like do that warn people with some strange bird call. We've got some good examples in chat already. Or excuse me,
Call
bad
Jason.
examples in chat.
Right. They're here. Does that like I don't know, panache? Panache, like I don't know. Panache hide or panache convince?
Perform.
Perform. Oh no, we shouldn't do perform.
I would go with perform, panache, perform. Sounds like
What about
exactly what you're
scholarship?
trying to
Since
do.
I know like many like bird calls, can I like call upon that instead?
But
You can do panache scholarship to do a bird call. This is not necessarily going to help people.
No, it's
I
not.
don't-
Okay, never mind.
like if we hear a real bird call, it
Yeah,
won't.
it wouldn't work. Okay, so never mind.
Excuse
Alright, I'm just
me,
gonna. yeah.
miss. Please step aside. Inquisition business.
Robbie.
So I'm gonna use my disarming smile and spend a hero point. For starting a fight or resorting to violence, and I'm just gonna charm them. What kind of business is that? Don't you have other things to do other than go into this church? I saw somebody dressed in eyes and stuff all the way over there, spouting lots of stuff against your church over there.
Right.
Aren't you supposed to
looks
take care
at
of that
you,
first and go to church? I don't know. That's just not how you work.
signals for two of the guards to go the direction you're pointing, just because there were 10 of them to start with, side note. And you've now done 2 damage to a brute squad with your mouth.
Yay!
Good
Furthermore, I'm actually here waiting on somebody. I'm here on a diplomatic mission, and they are late. Could you, by chance, help me go find them or something? I swear, your politicians do not run on time.
That sounds excellent. Why don't you come with us? And they put one hand on your shoulder
dear.
and kind of like lead you into the building.
Oh,
No,
dear.
it's not supposed to be in the building. It's supposed to be out there. And you don't want a war on your hands, do you? And I hand them my family emblem.
Oh, so you're gonna like pull some rank here, huh?
I'm pulling the shit out of my rank.
Okay, you're gonna need to at this point make a charm roll.
All right, I can do that. Let's see here.
Meanwhile, while you're doing that, we're gonna cut back to the rest of the group who have no warning at this point that the Inquisition is in the building.
So he just said,
Yeah, we're not in the building quite yet, are we? What?
"Do what you want with me," or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I look pissed, and I pull out a pistol and I walk around behind him. And I contemplate. Is there a window?
I'll say that there is. Yes, there's like it's a stained glass window, if that's relevant. So you can't really see out of it, but there it goes to the outside. And it's not small. You could probably fit through it if you crouched. If you were jumping through it, I guess. I might be thinking ahead now.
Do you mind terribly if I cut into your moment for a second?
Do it. Do it.
So the very angry large Ison woman in the corner is going to take a deep breath and kind of like motion to you to not shoot him in the back of the head and go over and kneel in front of Monsignor Benevente. And just
yeah.
I'm gonna put my hands on the sides of his chair and like so he can see that I'm gripping it with a lot of force. Monsignor, we know that she's a horror. We know the darkness she holds. My mission is to find her and to stop her, and we need your help. You are the only person who can tell us where she is. Please,
That's what I said. God.
please tell us where she is so that I can end her darkness.
She said it with more gusto.
you do that with Ricardo behind him with a pistol. Uh, he kind of like deflates a little bit. I mean, more of like a hopelessness kind of that creeps over him, and he says, "I'm sorry. If I knew where she was, I would have already pointed the Inquisition in her direction. I have done so in the past, and all of those who have gone searching have not returned. Do you think he will be any different?" There is like a
I
little bit of a question in his voice there.
I have fought her and lived. I intend to fight her and live again. Do you trust me? And I will, at this point, move my cape around so that he can see that I have, like, more purposefully displaying my Draconice and Greatsword.
Sure. Sounds great. Ashlyn, how'd that roll go?
Raises.
6 raises?
6 raises.
Good thing you're charming.
I was
It's
using
nice
him
to see the Isle of Innismore so far from home.
I know. I was asked here on official purposes, and yet your person's still late. Actually, you could send me. You could be my escort to the their palace, right? It's around here. That's what he said in the letter.
I would
Why don't you
hope-
come and help me?
I would be happy to do so once I finish the current business.
Are you kidding
are-
me? Is this
are
how
welcome.
it is? Like with all of you, you don't run on time. You don't properly greet me.
I want to speak to your man.
And then you come here, pulling me inside this church for what purpose? So you can laze about? No, I need to speak to the people in charge all the way over there. And if you can come and accompany me, then that will be all great and daisies. But standing here does us nothing.
Okay, so you had 6 raises. You got 2 of them to get him to stop and talk, leaving you with 4. You have an option to use those 4 in 2 different ways. One, you can talk at him for 4 raises worth of time, which is, plenty of time probably for stuff to happen. Or you can use those 4 to get you to have him take you to the palace, to see the Pope. And he will only leave some guards here to investigate.
It will only lead to a couple of them, right? And I can take the rest
I mean,
with
he's
me.
only got 8 left. You're probably looking at 4 of them staying.
But then you're alone with him?
Yep. Well,
Oh boy!
that's the better option, isn't it?
Is it?
Mm-mm.
No.
You got this. No, this is great.
I trust you. I'm
Yep.
just very concerned for your well-being.
I hope somebody's listening as I say that. But what are you doing? What are you waiting for? Come on. I have time. Time is money. I got to get going.
Okay, so he introduces himself, by the way. His name is Octavio Mizabi. He gives his title as the Dark Inquisitor.
Yeah. I don't care. Time is money, and take me to your
And,
he asked me there.
He signals for 4 of his guards to check things out and starts heading towards out of the building with you.
I mumble about time. that's a weird cough of mine. I just think about it.
Okay.
And I walk with like all due pomp and circumstance of my title and throw on an air of snobbiness as I follow behind him.
Oh boy.
Okay, so Valdez, you're at this door,
Yep.
and there is a knock on the door.
Who is it?
There is another knock.
I said, who is it?
I will begin ushering people very quietly out the other door immediately.
Yeah, go.
I bravely run through the door.
Ricardo, go with Monsignor, get back to the ship. Valdis and I will be fine. He'll tell us what we need to know now. And then I'll make very direct eye contact with the Monsignor, waiting for him to either confirm or deny that he will help us now.
He gives a nod, I guess. And then, so the Monsignor, the servant, are going with Ricardo and Esteban, while the other two of you are waiting for the Inquisition.
Oh, I've been looking forward to this.
I will sort of there, Greg. I walk into the other room. I pull out a pistol. I hand it to Esteban. And I say, get them to the ship. Because if you'll notice, I've got this trait that says I earn a hero point when I'm the last one to safety.
God damn it!
Or that, I start fights. I put myself in danger. Lose your temper, causing trouble. All right, that's what we're doing. All three of those line up. I'm going to get a whole bunch.
Ricardo.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Great. Perfect.
So, Esteban, it sounds like you're alone with a priest.
Yeah, I look at him and I say, I don't really need this to take you to the ship, do I?
He's like holding it wrong.
Yeah.
Half of it's a question, half of it's a threat.
I mean, you'll come with us.
It's like,
I mean, it's us or the Inquisition at this point, so...
Right.
Yeah.
He says, that is more than enough for me to follow you.
Yeah. As I just chuck the pistol over my shoulder and we leave.
Okay. He knows where he's going, so that's nice. And you guys start heading that direction.
Are you guys going to try to disguise him or something?
Okay.
We'll deal with that later.
So, while
We aren't the plan people, Ashley.
Apparently so.
So I would like to point out that there are still two party members who are in the same room. If you guys want to fix that. So,
I mean, I guess I'll start chopping down the wall so I can go a different direction as everybody else. Then we'll have a truly split up party.
okay. So you still haven't got an answer, surprisingly, as to who's on the other side of the door there, Valdis. And so the door handle...
I bar the door with my body. So I am very strong.
cross.
I think that the door opens outwards.
Shit. I pull the door.
Well, no, it's going to be inwards. I'm going to go with that.
Okay. Whew.
GMing quandaries, you spend like 5 minutes of brain power figuring out whether the door opens out or in. First world problems.
Right.
Anyways, so you are going to try and keep the door from being open. Why don't you give me a strength raise there then?
Okie dokie. I have an advantage for this, I think. But is it time? I don't think it's time for strength of 10, so we'll just do regular. You want brawn and something else, or just brawn?
I think it's just brawn.
I'm okay with that. I have 6 brawn.
Ooh.
And it's the first time I'm using brawn, so flare! Save me! Oh. That is 4 raises, my good man.
Okay, the door opens with a strength of 7 raises.
Holy shit.
Ugh.
So 3 extra
I should have
raises.
strength of 10.
So with 3 raises, that actually it opens pretty quickly. as you stumble backwards and look up face to face with a vampire lady that looks familiar.
Oh,
Shit.
looks familiar in what to who?
Her left arm is missing.
God damn it!
Oh. Oh.
As soon as I see her and recognize her, I am going to shout, "Run!" and then pull my greatsword out.
Okay.
Hey, I'm real glad I left.
Oh boy.
So obviously, Ricardo, you hear the run.
Yeah.
I'm pretty unconvinced that will have an impact on you.
Yeah, nobody's
Yeah.
running except
Well,
for
I'm
me.
gonna run.
I just recovered from a near-death experience. God damn it.
What's another couple of
There's another.
stars?
Right.
So Valdis, you got a first-hand view of this whole thing.
Yep.
What are you doing?
Well, she is very strong for a very petite woman with one arm.
And I just told you to run.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. I need to do something. So I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go up to her, spend a hero point, and freeze her solid.
Yes! You were such a useful son.
It's not gonna stop her.
Every mom wants
But
a
it will
son who
slow her
can treat
down.
people solid.
So a couple of things happen here as Valdis is stepping forward. You yell, "Run!" She looks directly into your eyes, Ursula, and
Oh, dear.
says, "You have found my son."
Yes.
At which point, ice starts to creep up her legs, and like it kind of, she's standing in the doorway, right? So it kind of like freezes to the doorway as like this ice block appears around her. She looks down with kind of a quizzical, one eyebrow raised look as the ice comes up, and then just with her last moment before her upper torso is frozen, she holds up a hand in sort of a gesture of peace. Says, "Let us discuss." And then she freezes solid.
Oh, timing.
For what
Well,
it's
this-
worth, I vote we don't discuss.
How long is she going to stay frozen like that?
For a scene.
So I heard, what's her face shout, "Run!" So I'm gonna run into the room,
Yes.
I'm going to pick up the frozen vampire.
pistol in hand, and I
Frozen vampire. We're just gonna haul her frozen ass back.
Yes! We are going to run with the frozen vampire. She said let's discuss. I know that she's terrifying, but if we can get her not here, I want the other two people involved, because last time we fought something incredibly terrifying with just the three of us, I almost died.
Okay, so our plan is to haul her back to the ship and then surround her.
It sounds like a fun. It doesn't sound smart, but it sounds intriguing. Or I can put her on the other side of the door and close it again, and then run away.
So one clarification, which will be a little relevant, is that some of the ice, she was in the doorway, so it kind of is
Oh,
stuck to the
shit.
door frame. You still
Strangle
think you
10.
could possibly like pick her up, but you'd probably have to kind of like tackle her forward through the door, and just try and break, kick the door by the ice by the door frame as you go by, kind of thing.
That's a lot of work, and I don't think we have that kind of time.
That's one option. Let me know what you do right away, because pretty soon Ricardo's might have a chance at recognizing the ice vampire.
I've never met any ice vampire before.
Is that the worst thing
It's
in
a
the world?
very
Do I
realistic
want
ice
him-
sculpture.
do I want him to see her like that? I mean, he's gonna see her eventually. She is alone. There's nobody in the hallway behind her, right? We don't see anybody else?
You can't see into the hallway at all at the moment.
Ah.
You just see the
Do
wall
I-
on the other side.
Do I hear anybody else but us?
There's a distinct chance you might hear the boot prints of the Inquisition slowly coming your direction inexorably.
So I'm going to flip real quickly and turn to the two men who are now in this room with me. We don't have time right now. We need to leave. There are more boots down the hallway. We can't take them. I don't think we can take them.
I turn and look at the stained glass window, and it says it would be a tight fit.
Yep.
I blast it.
This is so great, guys. I'm so glad I did this.
The stained glass window. What a waste.
We do
What a
need to
waste
step
of
back
artwork.
just a touch, and there was a servant in the room.
Oh, right.
I'm assuming the servant is with Esteban.
Yes.
Oh,
I kind of
okay,
assumed
yeah.
that's what she would be doing as well.
So that's where she is, just for clarification. She's not in the room. And Ricardo, you're going through the stained glass window?
Yeah, I mean, there's probably another exit out of here, but if there's more people coming, I don't know, they might have surrounded the house. We're getting out. That's the first thing I thought of. I'm a bit
You're
hot-headed.
100% certain that it's outside that window.
Good. Best way to shoot it.
I'm going to say that with the ice and with the urgency in Ursula's voice, Ricardo's hasn't really made a connection to the person standing in the doorway yet. And you make your leap through the stained glass window. So give me some finesse athletics. That's the skill name, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Aw, 3.
Okay. So 3 is going to get you through the window. Heck, 2 would have gotten you through the window. But stained glass is tough. It's got all those little metals in there. And it takes a lot to get, through it with real finesse. So you smash through the window and then kind of like your boot gets caught. Luckily, it's not that far to the ground because you're still on the ground floor. Look at that. And but you kind of land face first on the ground on the other side. Yeah.
The heroic captain leaps through and lands on his face.
So, Ashlyn, you're walking down the street with this Inquisition guy
Uh-huh.
when suddenly there's the sound of shattering glass.
This is such a bad idea.
I try to grab his attention some more. Oh, for fuck's sake, can't you guys run a city? I mean, honestly.
And it looks like somebody just ran through a stained glass window and is lying there, like maybe on face down in the broken shards.
I have no
around the
time
street.
for poor people jumping out of windows. I have a time.
Fenestrating themselves.
I have a time schedule to run, and then you promised me you would take me there. Are you a man of your word or not?
He looks at you. He looks at Ricardo. Looks at you.
It's
Looks at
probably
Ricardo.
dead anyways. It doesn't matter. Can we move along? You promised this, and are you not a person of your word? Inquisition.
Anyways,
Oh boy.
he does not take any immediate action, which means that we still need some actions. Valdez, what are you doing?
Mostly just like, are we taking the popsicle or not?
No,
Well-
that's way too much work to get her off the ground. Go, go.
Okay, going out the window.
So, Ursula, you're following out the window?
Valdez has to go first because I'm his mother, and then I'm going to close the door that our squishies escaped through, and then go out the window.
Okay.
Are you calling me squishy?
Yes.
You are squishy.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you're our squishy. I'm trying to help protect you.
Yay!
She's a good tank.
I do try. So hopefully Valdis is going out the window first. I'm closing the door and then jumping out the window as well.
Okay, Valdis, you're going to need to roll finesse because you are large. So it's a 2 dice penalty.
Can't I just take a running start and go through the whole thing?
You could roll brawn to try and break through the wall. Yes. It's going to require more raises.
Oh boy.
I choose the box.
I would like a second box, please.
Yeah, we're gonna go with brawn. I understand there's more risk involved, but it's much better than finesse.
Okay, I'm picking up some raises right now.
Oh boy.
You can do brawn athletics if that's relevant.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
And it's probably get flair too.
Woo!
Because we know you're going to try and go through that window with flair.
Oh boy.
I got 5 raises.
Whoa.
Nice.
That is the number I was thinking. So good job.
Woo!
The
I'm taking the frame with me.
yeah, you pretty much take the window frame along with it. That's pretty much how that's going to work. So Ashlyn, you're sitting there having this conversation about that, and he's looking at you, and he looks back at the window, and then suddenly the rest of the window explodes outwards as Valdis comes careening through there, completely ungracefully, in no sense of grace, trips over Ricardo as bits and pieces of the wall and window frame go splattering out into the street, getting even more attention from passerbyers that happen to be Inquisition guards.
I got a game plan, guys. I got it.
And there's a brief moment as Ursula goes to close a door before she follows out. The pretty, it's not that hard now. Valdis cleared the way, and Ursula can probably make it.
All right.
Okay,
So I act more and more pissed off, and I say, for fuck's sake, this is against a law in Innismore. I'm gonna have those bastards arrested. Come over here with me. And I drag the guy with me, and I march over to the people on the ground. Under the section 345 of the old Constitution of Innismore, for impeding the heir's right to a meeting with other former dignitaries, I hereby arrest you and your lot.
What's the Inquisition captain doing?
He is standing there mostly with his mouth agape.
Well, aren't you going to arrest them for me? I need to take them to my boat and properly arrest them. Perhaps even throw them in the gallows when I get home, maybe if they don't die on the way there.
The guards behind him have kind of put their hands on their weapons and are looking to his lead. He says, "Excuse me," to Ashlyn, and steps down. At this point, Valdis is on top. So kind of grabs Valdis by the shoulder to lift him up a little bit so they can, look at each other face to face.
Aren't you going to arrest them?
And he says,
for me?
"My good sir, can you explain why you're breaking out of the window?"
Please tell me this is when I barrel through.
Well, the door was locked.
Okay. Get a hero point for that, Rob.
boy. Nice.
I couldn't get out the door, so what else did you want me to do?
Somebody placed an ice sculpture in the middle of the doorway. We couldn't get out.
And we were so terrified of the ice sculpture that we had to get out of that room. It's a
Okay.
fire hazard.
Ursula, you close the door, you turn around to run that direction, you hear the sounds of breaking ice.
Oh boy. I will spare a glance to see how broken the ice is?
Sure. You take that glance, and you're reminded of the lightning quickness that you encountered last time you faced this creature. Um, as
Mhm.
even before the shards of ice have had a chance to hit the floor, um, her one remaining hand is reaching out in your direction.
Ooh.
She grabs your wrist as you run by.
Oh boy. Is it a grip strength that I think I can break out of, or am I going to cut off her other arm?
She got 9 raises.
Ooh.
Oh.
Oh,
Probably
Oh.
loses 2 of those to
Oh,
other
no.
factors, so you're looking at bronze 7 to break out of it.
You got strength of 10.
Let me reread what that does real quick. Increase all your individual dice for that risk by your brawn or resolve, whichever is greater.
Oh.
So I would increase all of my dice by 6, which would almost guarantee a good number of raises, but I don't think it would be enough. But she said she wanted to talk. Oh, but she's a whore. Is my sword glowing? I'm so conflicted. I
Your
assume
sword
my
is totally
sword
glowing, by the way.
All right, we're cutting her arm off so that I can not be here anymore. Actually, most of her is still frozen solid, right?
That is correct. Only the upper half has broken at this point, although there are cracks running through all of it.
I'm gonna do a dumb thing. Instead of cutting off her arm, I'm going to swing recklessly towards her neck and try and behead her. Because that would
Oh.
put a stop to all of this. And then if it doesn't work, hopefully she doesn't kill me. But she's a horror, and I can't not kill her. And she killed my mom, so I can't not kill her. Yeah,
It's all very fair.
I'm taking the opportunity to try and kill her. And we will use my signature item for a hero point.
Roll Blaze of Glory.
Please. This is the hill I die on.
It's not helping, Rob.
I mean, as a monster hunter, I earn a hero point when I choose to hunt down an inhuman creature, so it'll never hurt anybody again. And instead of saving myself, I am now trying to kill her. Does that qualify as giving me a hero point?
Sure.
Yay! Okay. So, let's see. 6 brawn. What's my weaponry again? I think it's 4, 3? 3.
And flare.
Flare. And hero point for attacking a foe, dealing wounds equal to raises you spend, plus your highest trait when using it, and my traditional The War, assuming that she qualifies as a villain.
You should get a couple of extra dice for her being frozen in place, too. Just throw 2 on
Yay!
there for that.
2 extra? Alright.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Huh. Okay.
You can reroll one of them.
6. That is 6 raises plus additional wounds equal to that. So essentially 6 raises plus 6 wounds and 1 dramatic wound in addition.
Right.
As I attempt to cut her head off.
Damn.
Okay, so dramatic wound and 12 points of damage is
Yep.
nothing insignificant. Your blade goes that direction. You hear her voice as she again tries to kind of lock eyes with you, and she says, "I can help Eisen," and then your blade connects deep into her already missing shoulder.
Yep.
Because you guys are right arming it, right?
Yep.
And there's some splattering of black ichor,
Oh.
as the blade lodges itself, you know, near the collarbone somewhere.
Oof.
Does not.
In very angry Ison, I will mutter to her that she's a murderer. She killed my mother.
Prepare to die.
You know, just letting her know that I'm very, very angry.
As a side note, when you're looking at her, there's an Inquisition guard who's just gotten to this part of the hall, and
Oh,
he's literally staring at you from behind her face with this like shocked look on his face, with just a little bit of spray of black ichor across it. He has totally is not moving. He's mostly just decoration at this point. The
Yep.
She looks at you and says, "Not my choice. They hunted me."
We hunt all horrors.
Even those that wish to see the end of this. And she gestures towards some holy book.
Which means she's let my hand go, and I'm going to yank my greatsword out of her neck with as much additional force to attack as possible.
Yeah, she has totally let go of your hand.
Yep.
She has yet to make an offensive action. And
That's
you
fine.
yank that out gratuitously, probably with a twist, right?
Uh-huh.
And that's enough for the moment. Back to the street. Ursula did not come out following you, Valdis.
Yeah, I need to go back in there.
Excuse me,
coming,
Inquisition Captain. I have to go check on my mom. Oh, boy.
So Valdis is turning around. Ricardo, you're getting up at this point.
Yeah. Did I hear her say? How loud did she say you killed my mom?
I suspect Ursula's pretty loud.
I viewed it as more of like a low, angry comment, but it was in Ison, so I don't know that you would understand what I
all
said.
right.
You did probably hear something in Ison, but that could mean anything.
Mhm.
I mean, you could be touting your
Anyway,
I love
so I'm
you.
gonna stand up and look back to what's Ursula? Where is she?
So good news, the window is way easier to see through than it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
That is good news.
Valdez
and-
had a hole in the wall.
You can totally see Ursula with her sword. You're probably just seeing her pull it back right now. It's got like some black blood on it. She's facing something just out of sight. And I mean, you're pretty sure it's swearing in Eisen because all Eisen sounds like swearing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Makes sense.
Although
tracks. Yep.
that being said, there is another voice too that's female, kind of grating and also talking in Eisen. I know that's redundant, but both of those things.
I look at the shit. I look at the Inquisitor and Ashlyn, and I tip my hat at them, and I crawl back in through the window.
nice.
So Ricardo's going to get in there before you, Valdis, because the Dark Inquisitor has his hand on your shoulder, right? As you
Right.
look back, he did ask you a question. Do you answer it?
He asked why I jumped out of a window, and I already answered him. I told
Oh,
him
that's right. Yeah, you did. I even gave you a hero point for it. Do you think I'm a fool? He says. And he gestures to his guards to like grab you.
Okay, that's not going to happen.
I suspect not. But before it doesn't happen, Esteban, you've come out a door because actually not a lot of time has passed since
Yeah.
you started running. You come out
I
a door
heard a lot of crashing.
a little ways down the street. You've heard some crashing. You look that direction. There's a bunch of Inquisitor guards. Valdis is in the middle of the street. You see Ashlyn. You don't really see Ricardo or Ursula at this point, but you're smart enough to make the connection that that's probably the stained glass window that was in the study that's spread out throughout the street over there. The Monsignor raises an eyebrow and looks your direction.
Is there a carriage nearby? like a moving one that's passing by.
Yeah, you're in a relatively busy part of the city. There's that sort of stuff. You can see one just down the street over there. It's coming your direction.
I flag it down.
Okay. You flag it
and
down.
I tell him, quick, the priest here is under attack by evil forces. Help take us to safety. I'm going to try to pile in.
Okay, I have to make a real quick roll to see if you've got one of those guys who's like, oh, that makes perfect sense and I can help. Or if it's one of those, use the word evil and I live in the Vatican City, so I'm just going to run.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to be any part of this heresy.
Oh, crap.
Oh, look at that. You totally got the, oh, I'm here to stop evil guy. Good for you.
Good job.
All right.
It's a good roll on 2 dice. So, he's like, oh, get in, sir. And off you go in the carriage.
And I direct him to the ship, because that's a safe place to take the priest.
Yeah, there might be some like conversation there later, but he's on his, he thinks he sees plenty of evidence that what you're saying is right at the moment, so he's on board with that.
Perfect.
Okay, let's go back to Ursula.
Yep.
Although actually I didn't do Ashlyn at all. Is there anything you wanted to add to the scene right before I get there? Sorry.
I did what I could do, and it's not, I did what I could do.
Okay. Ursula, you're up.
All right. I believe I've just yanked my sword out of a lady's neck who kind of sort of tried to tell me she wants to stop the church from making more horrors, I think. But also she's a whore, so I know she's full of shit.
You got a real dilemma here.
Yep. True to my nature, I think I'll pause for just a second before I swing at her again, and she can kind of see a small amount of internal struggle on my face.
I was here. I saw the falseness. I found a means to destroy it. Would you not use any weapon to fight? And she kicks the ice off of her legs as you, in your moment of hesitation, completely ignoring the Inquisition guard behind her, who still standing there. And then you strike?
Yeah, I've been trained too well to try and hear her out at this point, so I will attempt to swing at her again. In typical Ursula fashion, with no regard for my personal well-being.
Give us a swing.
All right, this one's only 4 raises, and I'm not spending any hero points on it, so... Yep.
Okay, she spends 3 raises to only take 1 point of that.
All right.
As you swing at her again, and it slices. I don't know. What do you want to slice? What were you aiming
Probably
for?
just like a surface wound somewhere on. What does she look like? Where's our background again? Probably just like the exposed flesh of her other shoulder. I don't actually damage her dress at all.
Sure. You slice into that, doing 1 flesh wound that just bleeds 1 slow trickle of black blood.
Yep.
That doesn't go far down the shoulder before it stops having arm, and then drips to the floor.
Yep. I will counterpoint her statement, also in Eisen, with horrors only tell lies.
Ricardo.
Yeah, I'm gonna charge in. I was gonna spend a hero point on that, but my mic was muted, so that didn't happen. I'm gonna charge in. Shit, it's some figure. I can't see her. I can't shoot. I'm going to here. Hold on. We need to get out of here. So I'm gonna. Can I knock the person over? Can I tackle them? Can I push them over? They're smaller than Ursula, so they can't be that big.
So you're going to try and tackle the lady in the doorway.
Yeah,
Push her out of the way.
The lady that I'm swinging a greatsword at?
We need to get out of here.
It's fair.
I'm pretty happy with this action, so you'll get a hero point in a little bit here. Roll tackle mom.
I don't see that anywhere in the skills.
Mom is a skill that's somewhere between hide and charm.
Ah.
So you're probably just rolling brawl with
Finesse brawl?
finesse is fine, yeah. You're not expecting to need brawn for this.
Oh.
Hits a brick wall. Oh, God!
3.
Nice.
3 raises.
I feel confident that she can catch you with that. Let's see. So, yeah, she has raises left over from last time. So she uses her 3 raises to try and tackle her. She kind of bends down a little bit, takes her free arm around, and grabs you. And you look up directly into your pale, pallid mom's face. And there is a smile there.
Oh, dear.
And she says, Ricardo, it is very good to see you.
Where is she grabbing me?
So she's got probably an arm around under your left arm. Around the torso.
Yes.
It's not like a hold grab, it's just the hand is there.
Ah. Mother! You look so healthy.
She has a gigantic gash in her other shoulder.
I mean, you are getting blood on your shirt from her thing, but Valdez, as you come into the room, you hear that. What language do you speak there, Valdez?
I speak all languages. I took linguist.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Good. That's good.
Oh, dear.
In fact, there are only 2 people in the party that don't have linguist, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Really?
Okay. So anyways, yeah, you hear all that, and you see the scene in front of you.
Oh, boy.
You do have 2 Inquisition guards, like, right on your tail.
Yep. Well, I think I'm probably gonna, like, guys, we gotta go, and I will spend my hero point to make an ice sword and turn towards the Inquisition guys behind me.
Okay, there's nothing quite like making an ice sword using demonic help inside of the Dark Inquisitor. That's great.
Right. Yep.
I mean, it's a thing.
I'm a heathen and I'm proud.
But don't worry, Esteban got away.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mhm.
I mean, that was what you told him to do, so I guess that's.
It is. I did.
I
tell him.
follow directions very well.
To the T.
That he might be the only party member that's good at following directions. To be fair.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I really only follow directions when it keeps me out of danger, but you know.
I only follow directions when it puts me in danger.
Okay. Yeah. You have time to like actually roll something against this brute squad of 2 that's behind you.
Yeah, you know what? Sure, we'll lay the smackdown on this brute squad of 2. With 5 raises.
Okay. Well, brute squads generally get to attack you first because that's how brute squads work.
Right.
So the brute squad of 2 got 0 raises. So
Okay.
take 0 flesh wounds.
Okay. I can do that.
And then with a 5, you can kill each of them twice, or whatever you want to do with them. You don't have to kill them; just take them out.
I'll just. I'm gonna kill them. Like, I don't need them reporting that no, there was this heathen here. Here's what his face looks like. Nope.
No, thank you. Oh boy.
Okay, that's 2 less Inquisition guards. Let's.
And the world is a better place.
Ashlyn, are you doing anything before I go back to Ursula?
Well, I mean, is there really anything I can do?
Well,
Always.
the Dark Inquisitor is not paying any attention to you at all at the moment.
No,
Neither
that's
really are the
fine.
guards. Other things have distracted him, although he's assuming you're there, I guess.
I'm gonna be a little bit loud, and I'm gonna try to stop. Gosh, I'm gonna just try to stop everybody from fighting each other. Valdis. And
It's cute that you think you can.
I'm trying to save you guys from like going into jail or something.
That would require us to kill all of them.
If all the guards are dead.
Oh no.
Oh man.
Oh.
All right. Yep, there's nothing.
You could escape
Mhm.
or hide.
No, because then, like, I don't know, because, like, I pulled my rank as an older person. If I leave with you guys, then that could be bad, too.
You run away now.
Okay,
Sure.
well, let's get to the meat of this now. We've got
Okay.
Ricardo and we've got Ursula. They're both facing Maria. That's your mother's name, if you didn't know, which you did. I think actually Ursula knew that at this point too. But besides the point, there is now someone in the general way of you decapitating her, Ursula.
There's a small amount of panic on my face, as like he and I may not always see eye to eye, but Ricardo is kind of. He's not as much of a son as Valdis is, but he's working on it. I'm gonna have to cut her arm off so that she can't hold on to him anymore. Is he enough to the side that I could like either cut her arm off or reposition myself to get another hack in at her neck area?
So it's pretty tight quarters. You're talking, she's in a door frame. Ricardo's in front of her. She's got an arm around him. Even trying to hack the arm off leads to some serious questions about where you stop and don't get Ricardo.
That's fair.
Especially knowing how much force you're going to have to put up beyond that to be successful. So it's not there's not a lot of great shots. If she came into the room, that'd change things a lot.
Well, just as you say that, may I spend a few hero points?
Let's do it. Oh, by the way, you got one for tackling your mom too, so add one to your list.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can I spend a hero point to activate what's it called? Camaraderie to give Ursula 4 dice. And then
Those are the don't chop my own arm off dice, yeah.
only hit the bad guy dice.
Can I spend another point to activate my item?
Do you have a plan to do it? What you're going to do with the item, or
I'm gonna. Well,
Just-
Ricardo is. He thinks he's clever, and he's also a bit superstitious. So he thinks he's got the solution. I'm gonna pull it out and I'm gonna press it against her arm, and like try to wrench away from her. So I reach in, like shove it in her face, wherever is close by, and then push off against her and like put my hand against the door frame and shove and try to get away from her.
okay. You press that. She, like, basically, as your hand goes there with the amulet's not the right word. Locket. She grabs it with her own hand.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like pressing it into her hand as much as anything, that part of the arm. And she gets a sad smile on her face and says, I am glad that you kept it. I lost mine. And her gaze
She's got it in her
slides
hand.
over to Ursula real quick.
She's got it in her hand.
Yeah, you guys are basically holding hands.
I duck.
So, right, because if this isn't obvious enough, Ursula, this is like
Yeah.
a pretty fantastic, oh, here's an arm, maybe you should swing at it sort of thing that just happened.
And I'm gonna try and take her arm off, because that's what I do. But I did get 4 additional dice, and if he ducks, I could very easily swing for her neck again.
Can she use the extra dice from my signature item? Or the bonus from my signature item?
I'm kind of using that for something else at the moment, so I think no.
Okay.
All right.
So clarify, are you going for the arm or the head? He did duck.
The head will either kill it or incapacitate it completely, so I will go for the head.
Okay.
As you do.
As you do.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I'm in mild amounts of panic mode, I will spend an additional hero point on my signature item to deal wounds equal to raises, plus my highest trait, which is again going to be brawn. Sweet. So that is 7 raises. Thank you for those additional 4 dice.
Woo!
And then 6 additional wounds to trying to chop her head off.
Excuse me, how many raises was that again?
7.
Okay. So that's 1 dramatic wound.
Oof.
She is distracted. You've already hit her in the neck area before. You swing for it. You're a little high, and you connect with like the side of her head,
Oof.
which
Ugh.
isn't necessarily considered a failure by your means.
No.
And the blade like goes into the jaw area, right? So it's like doesn't quite go all the way through. So your blade is now stuck in her face.
Growl and ice and let him go.
I think she can only gurgle a little bit at this point.
I mean, my understanding is that she did let me go.
I thought she was holding onto your hand.
She has the amulet in her hand.
We'll say that he let her go. She wasn't particularly holding on to him tightly to begin with.
All right.
And the sword blade goes there. It's kind of frightening. If Ricardo was in Call of Cthulhu, he'd totally be taking a horror check right now. As he looks at his mother's face with a blade sticking out of it, and Iker, she takes She's got your locket in her hand, and she opens it up and stares at it. And then her eyes just go to Ursula. She does not move.
I'm gonna prepare to hit her again.
Make a long story short, you pull the blade out, make another strike, and her head comes off her shoulders.
Hey, Ricardo, I didn't want you to see that. And I go to go get her head, and then notice the Inquisition soldier who's been watching this whole thing.
Yeah, the Inquisition soldier. There's now actually a couple of them in the hall. They've totally been so distracted by this they didn't notice Valdis killing Inquisition soldiers in the background, and they're looking at you. And it's probably just dawning on them now that you've got like this objectionist thing on your breastplate. But they're pretty sure that was evil. But at the same time, they're really conflicted, and they are the sort of people who aren't going to make any decisions on their own. So they put their hands on their weapons and they back up in the hall. And one of them shouts, "Go get the captain," or something. And one of them runs off.
That's fine.
The other one says, "It's best if you kind of stay where you are."
I'm gonna give him the look of an age-old war veteran as I turn to him and say, "It is best that you don't come near this corpse. It is dark." Trying to find the word in his language or how he would better understand it.
Yeah, he
And then I will
nods. He's like, "Oh, yep, all on board with that."
Yep.
I'm gonna
Then I'll
stand right
turn
here,
back
and if you move, I will shout at you again.
That's a good plan, soldier.
Yes,
And then I'm gonna turn back to Ricardo.
The other two guards are cautiously approaching the door frame, Valdis.
Oh, yep.
Do you just want to finish them off?
Yes.
I would have you roll, but I think you'll just finish them off.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I mean, I guess I'll give them a chance to do one flesh wound to you that will disappear at the end of the scene.
Okay.
No.
That's what I thought.
That's two groups in a row who can't manage to get 10 on 2 dice.
Nice.
Woo!
So that becomes pretty obvious to Dark Inquisitor out there as he sees Ice Sword flashing around. At this point, he's kind of in the street by himself, though, with Ashlyn, and he is not interested in engaging per se. So he turns to you, Ashlyn, puts a hand on his shoulder, and says, "It's best we get to the cathedral as soon as possible." He just starts fast walking down the street.
I go along with him, so hopefully I can buy them time to get the hell out of here.
So Valdis, you have the option of chasing him or letting him go with Ashlyn.
I give a meaningful look over my shoulder to Valdis. Oh, wait.
Yeah, I'll take the hint and I'll just run away. Time go. And then proceed to dip and dive through alleyways to get back to the ship.
Dodge, duck, dip, dive, dodge.
Yep.
Okay, Ricardo, you saw this. There's one important thing. You were not just watching her, but you're also watching the locket, right? And
Yeah.
as the head came off the shoulders and she started to collapse to the ground, you saw like there was a flash on the locket. And then her hand, she actually only has one, opens and the locket falls to the floor with a clink. Followed by a thump from her head, and then a from the body.
You know that if you've seen Saving Private Ryan, when Tom Hanks's character has that kind of shell shock period where he can't really hear anything, and it's just that like kind of high pitched ringing noise, and everything's muffled.
I hear that all the time. It's called tinnitus.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I think that's kind of what Ricardo, like maybe he hears the jingle of the amulet and the thud of the body head hitting the ground, and he's just kind of he's probably he's like that for a few moments.
Okay. Ursula, you've talked to the guards and picked up the head. Valdis has finished off the others. There's not. Ashlyn is off to her appointment with the Pope. And that leaves the three of you there pretty much alone.
I'm gonna take my greatsword and stab through where the body's heart should be, and then toss the head at the Inquisition guards. Burn this as soon as you get the chance. It's the only way to make sure. Then I'm gonna lean down towards Ricardo and very quietly, "You must get up. We have to go." And then hand him his mother's locket, and like try and get him up.
Get the locket.
Go!
Stand up. Kind of shake my head. Look at Ursula and say, "Are you okay?"
Yes, I am surprisingly uninjured, but I have. We'll talk about that at the ship. We have to go.
Let's go.
Ashlyn, you pass a troop of armed guards going back the way you were coming.
I make a dramatic. I overdo a feint in front of them to stop them, like a little bit, to make it a little bit difficult for them to get there.
Okay.
It takes me a long time to actually feint, but I make a huge production of it. It's like my heart, it's pounding, and then I fall forward and I like seize up a little bit and I go in front of these guys.
Okay. The side note is that you end up in the Dark Inquisitor's arms, not theirs, because they have a good purpose. You might have
So romantic.
distracted a couple of them as you went by, but there's a pretty good. This is like 30 of them, maybe. It's a pretty big column. And the rest, but at this point, pretty much everybody is on their way back towards the ship.
Okay, perfect.
I think, right? You guys got to think. Oh, the guard did not grab the head when you threw it to him. He just stepped aside and let it hit the wall.
That's fine. As long as they burn it, I'm happy.
He's going to let someone with priestly authority burn it. I think.
It's probably good.
And you guys are back out the window and down the street, running that direction. Ricardo with a continued dazed look on his face as he clutches his mother's locket.
I forgot to do something. That's okay. I spit on her corpse.
I give you a concerned look, but then only for like a second.
She killed my mom. That demon killed my mom.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. Now, this is that point where I remind the viewers, if they haven't already, and I think they probably have, voted in our poll for today, which is what familiar face are we meeting at the end of this? So that's your opportunity is there. Probably another 15 minutes before I get to that, if you want to take a look. Also, there is a secondary poll that tells us which character we're going to focus on next week that you can also vote on. You don't need to worry about that one till the end. That there are some options there as well. There's Esteban, there's Valdis, and Ricardo on that list. So Ashlyn, you'll have to wait till at least the next episode. So with that small, brief interlude, that's while you guys are running to places. Most of you get back to the ship except for one of you. One of you
Crap, it's me.
arrives at the Grand Cathedral, whatever they call it, at there, with the Dark Inquisitor, and he seems like he's picked up some guards along the way.
This hurts me on the inside.
What's your plan?
Well, my plan is so I start to wake up from my fainting spell. Is this how you run your city? I come here to talk to somebody of great importance, and there's vagabonds that run around.
Let's step back for a second. You did do
I
the
start
fainting
fake
thing.
crying. What?
You did do the fainting thing, and I sort of forgot that briefly.
Oh yeah.
You did have the option, if you just stay fainted, that they'd probably just like put you in a room somewhere. Or we can continue on with where we headed.
Well, I mean, I'm already worked up.
Okay, well, keep going.
And so I start bawling these fake tears and stuff. And I came here for a purpose, and you see all of these horrible things. I can't do this, and I storm off.
Our Dark Inquisitor, who is way better at empathy than one might think.
Well, I'm like, my heart is pounding too, so there's that. Like, I am actually kind of panicking now that I'm here where the Pope is. So there's that.
He attempts to like console you. Like, it is unfortunate that such darkness has come here, but this is a place of peace and quiet and tranquility, and it is a place where you can we can provide calm and all of that. Please, if you come this way, we can provide things much calm your experience. And he got 4 raises. He actually seems like genuinely interested in you.
Oh
my.
Our second love story begins.
Oh God.
We're being pulled in so many directions. Asshole A, asshole B.
Right.
Another knight has fallen in love with me. Great.
Right. I think I'm trying to act like a pompous aristocrat. Apparently that's not working. Okay. And I start to sniffle a little bit. I need to write to my father.
Oh boy.
Let us find a quiet space for you, and then you can tell us who and when you're supposed to meet with, and we can give them that information. And then you can, I'm sure we'll find a nice calm fountain or private room where you can gather yourself.
I snip a little bit more. All right.
Ooh, lean into his shoulder.
Ooh,
There, your face and his shoulder. Oh yeah.
I do that. Okay.
So you get to the private room. Are you like playing up that romance angle at all, or are you just trying to get in that room alone as fast as possible?
God, I'm a horrible person. I'm gonna play it up just a little bit. I mean, he's not bad to look at. I'm assuming.
No, he's actually really charismatic looking.
Okay, so very gorgeous.
Tall,
Okay.
brawny. It's a whole lot.
That's
tall, dark, and handsome. Sorry.
Okay. Okay, so I play the romantic angle a little bit, and I seem to calm down a lot more. And I look at him, and my hands kind of shake because I'm still like, what am I doing? And I look at him, and I give him a soulful look.
Ooh.
I have some questions. I wanted to talk to somebody. The moral question, and I was told that this place is the place to go and seek answers, and I have no idea what to do with myself.
Okay, so he personally takes you to a side room, or side room isn't even the right word here. In fact, it's way the opposite of a side room. It's an opulent suite within the cathedral grounds that are for guests. There are there's a servant there at the door, but he shoos her away, and he does go into the room with you and shut the door.
No, you can't do that. That's not what a proper lady needs. So anyways, I confess that I'm at a crossroads with a big decision in my life, and I was told that this place was the place to be, and I needed to talk to somebody.
Yes, perhaps we can cut to the chase a little bit here.
Oh no.
Oh.
I do not know if you know me, but I am not as I appear. It has been my quest for some time now to root out the darkness that is within the Inquisition. And it seems to me that you and your companions are doing the righteous work of destroying evil. Am I incorrect?
Companions. I don't travel typically with people.
So you would not be a valuable ally if I was to seek for allies outside of the Inquisition that could assist in righting the wrongs of the church?
What wrongs are the church? What wrongs are the church doing? And I'm like wiping away my tears now, and I'm like a little bit more awake and coherent.
Well, Ursula and I have a very comprehensive list if you want.
I mean,
I have my own list. It's different, but
what in particular are you looking at?
It has been the case for some time now that the Inquisition has been used as a tool for political power and gain rather than for its core purpose of actually ensuring that there is no darkness within the church. Its moving that direction has allowed darkness to creep within the church itself. We have seen priests be corrupted by the darkness. We have seen this evil that should have been stopped by the Inquisition, but it is too distracted by chasing pranksters and scientists down a street and claiming that their death brings righteousness to God when all it brings is power and money to the church.
So then what can we do for each other?
That's actually the question I was asking you, in the sense that it is difficult to find allies in the church itself. Making any move against the Inquisition is dangerous for those that are a part of the church, but you are not, and it appears that you may have some connection with the church in Innismore,
And
which would be valuable for me to have allies there, as well as, if I was correct, you might have some friends who are good at rooting out the evils in churches.
I have some good friends who can do more than that. So you want to ally us. So what would you do for us? And in turn, what do you expect from us to do for you? Are you thinking of supplying us with information about the whereabouts of whatever it is that's going on? Or are you wanting to join us? What is it that you seek?
I see that you have proposed the possibility that if I was to find some evil that I could not normally handle, that I might be able to point you and your friends in that direction.
Okay. And what more information do you have? What's been going on? There has been a couple of monsters we've come across. Once people, but no longer are. And there's a lot of muddy waters involving that. Could you clarify those? Anything from that?
Well, that is a bit of a longer conversation. Um, he goes over and like pours a wine because I had some of that there, sits down and says, "If you want to listen, I will tell you of the evils of the church."
I wait for him to take a drink out of his wine glass before I do.
Okay, seems solid.
And I lean back and I correct my brow, take a sip after he takes a sip. Go on, but before you do, can you send a messenger to his ship saying, I'll be there tomorrow morning?
It is unlikely that I'll be able to send such a messenger.
No. Okay. Go on.
Okay, we're gonna, as you spend a bunch of time up at the cathedral, let's go back to the boat, where Esteban, you're the first one to the boat, and you've got a Monsignor and his servant along with you.
Yeah.
The crew looks at you a little bit oddly as you you and a priest walk onto the boat. The Monsignor's like, "I've never really traveled much by sea. When you spend your life devoted to the church, one does not need to get too far from the church."
Well, don't worry. It's fairly easy. You might get a little queasy, but you'll be all right. I'll show you to the captain's quarters. I'm sure he'll be happy to let you rest there, at least until he returns.
Good. How's your sailing? You're really high on wits, though.
My sailing is none, but yes, I am very
Roll me
high on wits.
sailing.
All right. Well, I guess I get flair.
Yeah. Flare that up.
Let's see what we got here.
Oh, yes, I better double check that. Oh, look at that. There's a tie, huh? Somebody voted for the sun over the throne. Okay,
I got
if there's
3 raises.
any audience members who haven't voted, this is your chance. 3 raises. Okay. You get the feeling that there's something off aboard ship when you get on there. Like maybe there aren't as many people out as you would expect. You've got a good memory, right? You recognize what sailors look like in the lot.
Yeah. Am I not seeing the right faces?
You don't see the right faces on there.
Huh.
Oh no.
Cool.
No.
Yeah, because my notice is pretty high.
Yep.
So at what point on the boat do I notice this? Am I like
This is probably like about 5 steps off onto the boat, right? You just got off the gangplank. You take 5 steps, and you're like, "Wait a second."
Well, I'm going to lean into the priest here and whisper to him, "We need to get back off the boat. Something's wrong."
You guys took that carriage, so you're pretty fast. You're going to be way ahead of the other players. In fact, it probably, I guess, yeah, it's like an hour or 2 horse ride to the actual boat.
Oh,
from where you
great!
guys are. So yeah, you like. It's one of those things, right, where you like turn around and then some other sailors from the docks have come up the gangplank to like cut you off.
Oh,
Like-
shit.
Oh
They
shit.
like one of them's got a pistol out and he's like, "I suggest you follow me below deck."
Okay. Hmm. Hmm.
Take your time. Weigh your options.
Yeah. Okay, so. Well, no one from the crew is around to see me do this. So. I'm gonna shove the priest at them and then dive off the side of the boat.
Okay. I mean, it's a strategy.
In fact, a strategy.
Hell. Haven't been known to be the courageous one.
I mean, this is pretty courageous. I think diving off the side of a boat is pretty courageous.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So are you using your virtue for this? Or are you
My
just
what?
throwing it? Are you using your virtue to escape from danger, or are you?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that's a very good idea.
Okay, absolutely. You shove the priest at him, and you dive off the side of the boat, and use your virtue, so you like know how to like submerge yourself and find air, and so you hear these boots on the docks trying to find you, but you've like found an airspace under the docks somewhere, and you're
Yep.
hanging out there, waiting for things
I
to
make
happen.
sure my adopted child can also breathe in case he needs to breathe. I don't know if he needs to breathe.
Have we checked what happens when you add water to the grasshopper?
Well, I'm checking now. Yeah.
Rules.
I mean, I have only one thing I can possibly say, right? That during your dive off there, it's gone, it's empty.
Oh.
You
Oh
have no
shit!
idea where you're back to where it is.
Oh. And I have no idea at what point it became empty.
That's right, because you were, avoiding the boots and getting in the right place, and you've got some ideas, like, obviously it was you're pretty sure you had it when you jumped, um, but somewhere in that whole mess,
Huh.
you lost it.
Well, I'm causing a lot of problems right now.
Yeah, have a hero point.
Thank you.
For, I don't know, causing problems.
Havoc.
So
I'm just gonna chill out there and then hope for my friends to show up and take care of this problem upstairs.
okay, last check on the thing. Okay, we've got a. So, the rest of you eventually arrive at the boat. I'm going to assume that the captain pretty clearly identifies the issue with the boat, as he's approaching.
Yeah, there should be somebody, as I instructed on the deck, keeping an eye out for us. And like I would keep an eye out for that person to make eye contact with him and let him know to get everything ready. But yeah,
Okay,
something's up.
so it looks like our vote for focus for next session is Knight of Cups. Way to go, Rob.
Oh,
and
yeah.
our vote for this session, so somebody show up, is the Sun. I'm going to pick the Sun over the Throne because that was the last vote, and that fits well with what we're going to do anyways. So as you guys approach, you see that things are amiss. What do you do, Captain?
I look around the docks real quick, and then that's my ship.
Right,
I
as you
look at all the blood, like my mom's blood on my shirt. Look back at the ship. Look at Ursula. Pull my sword out and start walking towards the ship.
Oh boy.
as you walk that direction, coming from somewhere below deck and walking towards Ricardo, is a tall, pale, Deva of fire. That looks familiar. You've seen it before somewhere in another land. Um, and it is coming your direction there. And that's where we're ending, right?
Yeah, I guess
That's our end for this
Son of a
session.
bitch.
We've got the party in
I knew
lots of
coming
great
back
places.
here was a bad idea.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Just a little bit. But I gotta put my demon to rest, hopefully permanently. Probably not, though.
Yeah, it absolutely did. Yep.
I
mhm.
mean, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's not gonna pop up again.
No, they wa- but I
I was thinking
cut-
far too
cut
ahead.
off her head. I told somebody to burn the head, and I stabbed her through the heart. What are the odds?
Since
Good.
Ursula's saying this, and as we're ending here, before we go through and give everyone's favorite part of the session,
Oh boy.
you've got your sword out in one hand, and in your other hand, you're clenching the locket, right? And there's actual like black steam is coming from the locket
Fuck.
as he walks that direction.
Oh.
What was that about? You finished your business there, Ursula?
She thinks it's finished.
So I'm pretty excited about that. Let's
Yep.
do favorite parts of the session and then call it a night. We're going to go the opposite direction we started this, so that the people on the ends and bottom don't have to go first. Ricardo, what was your favorite part of the session?
Oh man.
There's so much to pick.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Ashland's new love interest.
Uh,
That is the one good thing, and I think that happened this entire game.
Yeah.
I was
Ash.
happy to bring that surprise around there.
Nice.
Ursula,
Admittedly, I was secretly hoping that she'd break out of the ice before I got through the window, and you did it, and it led to all of the things that happened afterwards. So I'm gonna go ahead and call that my favorite part.
you're heading towards the door, and someone grabs your arm,
Yep.
aw.
and from there things happen.
Yep.
Things happened.
There was a
Ashlyn?
moment, and it was
Oh.
taken.
Yeah, Ashlyn.
I liked Casey's like shell shockedness about like his mom, and then like his interaction there from there. It was just, I think it was really well done. So
Hey.
yay.
Excellent. Esteban.
I really like that Valdez saw a hole and decided that he had to make it bigger.
Uh,
I'm gonna tear that hole up.
Oh. Yeah. I just love his method of escape.
No, that's dumb. Let's just make the hole bigger.
Right. Obviously.
And it worked.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Valdez.
Honestly, I still gotta stick with like, why did you bust a hole through the wall? Because the door was blocked.
That was good.
That was good, yeah.
Yep. Because one is easier and all that. Oh, okay, well, thank you all for a fantastic session. I'm excited where we went and where we got to, and all of the great things that are happening next session when we get a little bit of Deva action, I suspect, because we've got our Knight of Cups, and Valdez will figure prominently in the next episode, episode 7, as yet unnamed. We will see you probably next week.
Yay.
Okay, that's a wrap.